Now, this is one of the most interesting symbols that reveals how our history has been played out by people in the same club, in the same fraternity, in the same secret society. So we have here the sign of the Master of the Second Veil. This is a Masonic sign, and it's called the Hidden Hand. And so you can understand that by looking at who is doing this symbol, of how history has been shaped by these people. And so there is the symbol. You can see now Freemasons doing the symbol here and with their aprons. One Freemason here. The most famous depiction of the hidden hand is Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon was a Freemason. And you can see here as well. That's Napoleon. This is his the one before him, which is Louis XVI. Well, you can see the prominent Knight of Malta, and you can see the hidden hand. So that's the Maltese cross there. And here he is again. Robespierre, involved in the French Revolution. The hidden hand. I used to think it was just military, but it's dignitaries. It's all people of all walks of life doing this. Here's now across the sea and Washington himself doing the hidden hand. Not very many people have seen this and know that he does the same thing that Napoleon does. And so it seems like it might be a military symbol, but it's not. It's Freemasonry. You can see this man here. And Washington himself and the man behind doing a variant of that, and we'll see that later also in pop culture being used. Here is one of the, I think, naval commanders in the Revolution. So war officers doing this. Now you have dignitaries. I believe this is partially the signing of the Declaration. I could be wrong. One of the events in history. I don't know all of these people, but this is the Western side of society. You might be able to recognize them in history. I feel like sometimes I need to go back and label these. Now look at this. Here's Lincoln. The top hat is very prominent in Freemasonry, and the Worshipful Master does that. But look at his companions there. His military officer looks like, and one of his, probably his cabinet members there. And then look at depictions of Lincoln doing this. Now Lincoln was assassinated, and he was also trying to print different currency, so he could have been assassinated, and I'll show some of that later on in this section. Booth, his assassin, look at him doing this hidden hand. Now military officers in the Civil War, and moving on. Albert Pike was a Confederate general. We don't have him doing the hidden hand, but we do have, look, these officers on both sides of the war doing it. And now we have other people. Booth, I think he's the founder of the Salvation Army. And presidents. And poets. I think this is Ruskin. I forget his name. This is four-time Prime Minister of Great Britain. Apple something is his last name, I believe. Sarah Palin, his husband. Now this could be the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not sure, but there's something fishy about that family. And look at here, we have James Dean and his friend doing the hidden hand. So that is the Western hidden hand depiction on this plate.